Wow, what a time to be in the technology business, and what a time to be with Epicor. So as we peer at our future through a technology lens, we will see a world that is more social, that is more mobile, that is more global in nature, and a world that is fueled by our ability to conduct business anywhere, anytime, leveraging some fast-paced innovation through access to instant information. A world that has shattered the economics of brick-and-mortar companies by completely transitioning business models through a digital transformation. That's why the largest bookseller in the world today doesn't own a single bookstore. The largest taxi company in the world today doesn't own a taxi cab, and the largest hotel chain in the world today doesn't own a single hotel property. And that's because companies like Amazon, Uber, and Airbnb have access to information, allowing them to disrupt their industries. You'll see a world that expects information to be instant and to be digital, where if you run short of inventory, you will now have the ability to instantly produce inventory on-site using technologies like 3D printing, and then have the ability to ship this inventory to all four corners of the world in a matter of days, or sometimes in a matter of hours, driven again through technologies like drones. So the point is, in this world, information will be made available at the point of need, in context to the problem being solved through a proliferation of these devices. A world that will be putting product experiences ahead of the product itself, and give you the ability to share these product experiences with millions of other people with a click of a button. These good or bad experiences in what's now called an experiential economy will oftentimes determine the success or failure of our products. A world that moves at the speed of now. In fact, in what's called an internet minute, which is probably how long it'll take me to make this point, millions of transactions will be conducted all over the world. Staggering numbers. 20.8 million texts being sent in a minute. 700,000 Facebook logins. Tinder, how many of you are familiar with Tinder? Well, I hope you're not, because it's a teenage dating site. Well, if nothing else, you can go back and tell your kids that 972,000 swipes are done in a minute. That's almost 16,000 swipes a second. And you can tell your kid, I hope you're not one of them. 527,000 photos loaded in a minute. In fact, in 2015, they reached that inflection point where there are more pictures uploaded every day than exist in the history of photography. And then my favorite, the last one there, 1,389 Uber rides hailed every minute for a company that wasn't in business 7 years ago and doesn't own a single vehicle. So we will see a world of driverless cars, we will see a world of social bots, we will see a world where presidential elections will be called days or weeks before polling is even done, hopefully saving us from more debates than what we've already been put through. There you go. A world of opportunities, folks, but also a world of concerning vulnerabilities. Data privacy, identity theft, viruses, cyber attacks are becoming more and more prevalent and more common in the work that we do. In fact, I'll submit to you there are probably two kinds of companies: those that know that they have been hacked and those that don't know that they've been hacked. So security is a big concern, and Joe spoke about this yesterday. It's a concern for you, and it's a concern for us as a vendor, that while continuing this rapid pace of innovation, we can never do it by compromising security. In a recent survey that Gartner Research conducted, they asked companies like yourselves on what are some of the top areas where you are investing in today. And here's what you said. The first one, business intelligence and analytics, which seems natural considering how much data is out there for you to get meaningful information out of this, we need some kind of analytics at our fingertips. That's, again, in context and meaningful. The second was data centers, being able to stand up data centers, being able to rely on data centers that are being stood up, and being able to get the level of security and comfort that you need from these data centers. Cloud. Joe spoke a lot about the cloud. I'll be speaking about the cloud in a little bit. We love number 4, of course, ERP, digital marketing, mobile, and security. The good news is these are exactly the trends that Epicor has been focusing on over the last couple of years. Janie spoke about some of these yesterday. In fact, I would submit to you that Epicor is at the forefront of this digital revolution, and we are ensuring that our products will benefit from these technology trends, and we will bring these to you in the solutions that we provide. So let's examine how we do this. Let's examine each of these trends and see what is Epicor doing architecturally and within the products to bring you the power that this technology now provides. Let's start with the cloud. Joe spoke a lot about the cloud. Cloud is an inevitability, folks, that we need to prepare for. Your businesses and our business is moving towards the cloud, and we need to be prepared to embrace the cloud. Now, cloud, this is an interesting concept. It's probably the most widely used term in businesses today, probably fashionable to say cloud, but possibly the most misunderstood one. In fact, if I ask each and every one of you to write down on your sheet of paper your definition of the cloud, we'll probably get a diverse set of answers. Everything from a cloud allows me to access information remotely. Cloud lets me stay connected with my business. Cloud lets me update pictures to Facebook. Cloud lets me watch videos on Netflix. In fact, yesterday I was in an executive forum, and one of our customers, David Nagger, and Dave, I'm sure you're here in the audience. He works for Spruce International. He said the frustrating thing about cloud is the marketing people look at a website and they call that a cloud. I hear you, brother. And for the more technical people, the definition of a cloud would go something like, it's a multi-tenant software as a service available across heterogeneous networks powered by virtual machines in a scale-up and a scale-out architecture. And the beauty of this is you're all right, because cloud is all of that and more. But as customers, what cloud needs to mean to you is this. First and foremost, cloud should stand for choice in deployment. Cloud should stand for convenience and access. Cloud should stand for cost control, the ability for you to reduce your infrastructure costs and move them to an area where you're going to get the greatest return in growing your business. Cloud should stand for customization. Now, it is true that in the world that is driving towards simplicity, not all the customizations that you're able to do today on an on-premises product will be possible in the cloud, and we have to accept that. In fact, in a panel discussion yesterday, I had several IT leaders from our customers, and they actually were looking forward to it because it brings more predictability into their business. And then finally, cloud needs to stand for collaboration, where socially the ability for you to collaborate better with not just your employees, but also with your customers and your vendors. What you put in the cloud should be your decision, and not a decision enforced to you by a vendor. We will reach an inflection point where all things will mean cloud, but you tell us that we are not all there today, depending on your industries, your businesses, and your life cycle. So that is the philosophy that Epicor has taken as well. We have a full multi-tenant SaaS cloud in E10.1 that is ready for prime time, and we have hundreds of customers with thousands of users on that product today with a higher net promoter score than our on-premises customers. So we are cloud ready. But we also have on-premise products, and we support the hybrid cloud, which allows you to connect private and public network through web-based services. And all of this is driven through an architecture that has been built from ground up for scale. We have what's called the separation of concerns, where we have the user layer. This is the layer most of you interact with. This is where you see the smart client or the browser client. You see your mobile devices, your industrial mobile devices. And then you have the middle layer, which is where all the business logic, these are the engines, our tax engine, calculation engine, posting engines, all our security services with APIs that need to be exposed for our third-party developers to connect to us. And then we have a very scalable backend, which can be implemented across virtual machines for scale. And fundamentally, this kind of architecture has enabled Epicor to meet the promise of the cloud and yet provide the flexibility that is needed. So I urge a lot of you who are here, and I know I've spoken with several of you, to take a look at what we have to offer with the cloud, with not just E10, but with several other products. Next, let's move to mobility. Same thing as cloud. Mobility means several things to several people. Mobility could mean just the ability to access your product when you're away from your desk. I'm at a kiosk at an airport, or I'm at a hotel, and I want to be able to access my information on my mobile device. It could be connecting mobile equipment in your organization to the main product. Could be barcode readers, could be RFIDs, or it could be mobile applications that are mission-specific, that without installing the entire product, you're able to instantly access information, such as some of the examples we have here on the screen. Again, the philosophy at Epicor is to understand the need of customers and ensure that our innovation takes care of all of these paradigms. And this is again enabled by the Epicor mobile framework that some of you are familiar with, which again has the interface layer. It has a mobile application and customization layer, which is abstracted. And then it has what are called RESTful services or APIs with authentication. The beauty of this framework, folks, is it sits on top of the business logic of products like ERP10, Profit 21, Eclipse, iScala, and CMS, and a few others in the future. And this enables us to provide a consistent experience, independent of the devices that you use, and an experience that works both on the web and on mobile devices. So in fact, let's move to a video, and let's listen to Alex Gray from Hallmark Building that you saw on stage a little while ago, and see what Alex has to say about Epicor Mobility. Let's cut to video.
I think the flexibility of the Epicor ERP system is very important. What it allows to happen is this organic growth of being able to allow anybody to do their job that they need, no matter where they are, no matter how they're accessing the data, right? Whatever device they deem is their choice. It allows the flexibility to access the information, to grow our customer base and to grow our business. It allows that flexibility so that they can access that information and make those better business decisions that will in turn then drive our growth.
Thank you, Alex. I love how many times Alex says growth. Celia, he needs to be your brand ambassador for Grow Business, not software. Next, let's talk about a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, and that's user experience. Like I said, we are moving to a world that's putting a premium on simplicity. And we need to move away from some of the complexity that we've built in our functionality in the products that we bring to you. A story that I use all the time is that the same customers who helped us design, say, our sales order screen, we put a lot of functionality into it, a lot of features into it. When we ran out of space, we had tabs, we had drop-downs, we had multiple line items, we had tax by line items, multiple bill to, ship to, and on and on and on. That same customer who helped us design the sales order system is going to go home, order a book on Amazon from his iPad with a single click of a button, come to work the next day and ask us, why doesn't your sales order work like that? That's the disintermediation that the web and the internet can create with paradigms like simplicity. And we're going to take user experience extremely seriously. We're going to make investments in simplifying our interfaces. We're going to create usability labs where we can invite you and get your feedback so that the products you will see coming out in the future have this sense of simplicity in it. In fact, research shows, and I have witnessed this several times in my career, that when you do that, customers thank you for the new features that you added, features that probably were there for the last 10 years, but you weren't aware of. So usability just doesn't mean pretty screens and simple menus. Usability is in everything that we do. As Joe mentioned yesterday, we want to be easy to do business with. That means easy to migrate, easy to integrate, easy to upgrade, easy to install. In fact, in a panel yesterday, some of you told me that we need to work on our error messaging, that some of the error messaging in some of our products isn't intuitive. To me, that's a user experience. And I spoke to our team that will be looking into it. So the example you see here on the screen is our Profit 21 product. What you see here is the same product that works on your desktop. When it is now rendered on an iPad, the HTML rendering is responsive in nature, and it's context sensitive to the device being used, which is just going to be a phenomenal advantage for all our Profit 21 users. In fact, last night at dinner, I was sitting next to Renee Savage, who I believe was the 6th or 7th Profit 21 customer. Thank you for your business, Renee. And Renee said that she can't wait to see this paradigm, this user interface for the same product that she knows so well and loves so much. So again, let's cut to another video. Let's listen to Alex again and see what Alex has to say about user experience when working with Epicor. Let's cut to video.
The technology has also allowed us to create this customer experience, which in turn grows customers because we can provide that value. That customer experience is gained through the ability of us to integrate our phone system directly back into our ERP. And by doing so, we've been able to pull information based on who's calling to gather region or territory or whatever piece of information we need or deem necessary to tie that customer back to a specific sales rep. And what that does is it creates a single point of contact then for our customers and builds that relationship. And if we can build that relationship and we can build that value that they can trust, then we can build a bigger customer base and in turn increase our growth.
Thank you, Alex. Let's now move on to social. No business is an island. And in fact, just during the course of this keynote, dozens, if not hundreds, of customers and prospects have probably tweeted about you, have looked at your website. Your competitors are comparing your products with theirs. Your employees are on Glassdoor commenting about you. And we're going to be in this always connected network of information. As Janie said yesterday, business no longer is done through a relationship of someone you played golf with. It is done through this communication across social networks. As the new saying goes, what happens in Vegas gets on Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, and every social media that's available out there. So social is built into, again, the ERP 10 product through the Epicor social framework. And I think Epicor's taken a brilliant approach to social, and I can say this because it was built before me, so I get no credit for this. But the whole idea is you have the ability to follow data in your system, tagged for in context to how you want to use it. So for example, if you're a sales rep, you can tag a customer within the product, and then every event that happens in the life of the customer, when they buy something, when they get a discount, when they go on credit hold, you are notified of that event for that customer. You could be collaborating on a job. You could be collaborating on an engineering change order. So you could have two engineers socially collaborating using the Epicor social framework as the engineering change order is going through modifications. This is still in its infancy. We have an exciting roadmap, because today we still rely on the Epicor social framework client, and there's no reason in the future we wouldn't look at other clients to be able to enable social across Epicor and across several other products. So stay tuned for more. We are just at the start of this journey, and we have the infrastructure built in, and you'll see a lot more coming from us in the months and years to come. Next, let's talk about integration. So while we build great solutions, while we make every attempt to put every feature and functionality that you need, we understand that oftentimes that last mile to your office is completed by our partners, by our developers. A lot of these developers you will meet at the Solutions Pavilion. And they have great products that need to integrate seamlessly into Epicor. We announced a relationship with ADP. The level of integration the ADP payroll will need to have with our HCM system will need to be of that quality. We have integration with partners like Avalara. In fact, I was speaking to someone from Avalara, and they said that the Epicor integration is a gold standard for Avalara across all the other vendors that they integrate with. So we do a good job with integration. I think we need to do a much better job in exposing our APIs, making our SDKs available, and quite frankly, in many ways, locking down things that we don't want integration into. Locking down areas of the product that may lead to bad quality if opened up for integration. So you'll see us getting more disciplined around integration, but we may have to deprecate some of the ability that we give today, because we really, especially as you move to the cloud, we cannot be open-ended on how you can integrate with our products. So let's move to my final video, and let's see how Keith looks at integration using Epicor products with several other products that he has in his organization. Can we move to video?
We've been able to not only implement all of our plants in a relatively short period of time, but we've integrated EDI, we've integrated ADP, our payroll system. We've integrated a timesheet system for our engineers, a web-based timesheet system for our engineers. We've integrated Salesforce. So the ability to integrate other packages has just been relatively easy, and we've been able to accomplish that while we were also implementing all of our plants. Through those interfaces, we're now able to combine data between both our ERP system and these other applications and compare things like how many payroll hours we've accrued against how much time we've booked in the manufacturing operation, so that we're sure that we're capturing all of our costs, whether it be indirect or direct. We're able to make sure that we're making money, basically, that we've accounted for all of our costs, and we're doing things to make the shareholders happy.
Thank you, Keith. So you'll see a lot of work going into how we are going to enable a more vibrant ecosystem. In fact, last night I was speaking with Ray Wang, who's an analyst, someone I've known for a long time and someone whose opinion I respect a lot. And we discussed the whole hub and spoke model on how Epicor needs to open itself to an ecosystem that is meaningful and trusted by all of you, and have some level of authentication and certification to enable this integration. Migration. So here's a dilemma that companies face all the time. And that is all the investments that are going in, the millions of dollars of investments that we are putting into our products, that we're putting into R&D, is focused on our current releases and the next releases. We have exciting roadmaps, and I hope you've had a chance to go to some of the breakouts and see those roadmaps. But the challenge is, if all of you are on an older release, then you don't have the ability to leverage the investments that we make. The analogy I often give is you're building the city of the future, which has every state-of-the-art innovation built in, but then we have customers here, and unless we build a bridge that clearly allows you to move from some of the older technology to the newer one, we are doing ourselves and you a disservice. So Joe has put a mandate internally for us to look at migration in a very short amount of time and build out tools that will make it easy for you to move from some of the older versions to the latest versions. Again, moving to the cloud, this is again going to be inevitable. It creates a cadence in this cloud-first culture that Joe spoke about. That's going to be extremely important. In some of our products, we've moved from an annual release to quarterly releases. For E10, we now have a bi-weekly release. Now, we don't make that release available, but internally, we have a build that happens every single day and a release every 2 weeks with hot fixes. Now, that puts a lot of pressure on us, but we have to put the pressure on ourselves to disrupt ourselves, because that's how we have to think in terms of release cadences. In fact, last night, I had dinner. Let me read the name out so I don't butcher it, because I know that feeling. Dave Geraldine from Mcdougal Energy. Now, Dave, this is a great story. Dave said single-handedly, with the help of one more person, he was able to convert their company from E9 to E10. And he said in many ways he rescued the business was able to save millions and bring growth back into the business, single-handedly. And this wasn't a simple installation. This was a complex installation, and they've also shared with me what we need to do to make this better. Fortunately, we have a global organization. We now have a technology center in India, and that is where we're going to get scale in building out some of these tools that are going to be necessary for us to get all of you to migrate. But I urge all of you to take a look at the most latest releases. Get to the latest release. It's going to help you. It's going to help us, because then we can get into a faster cadence of bringing you frequent releases that don't break and are easier for you to implement. Last but not the least, let me talk about quality, which is probably the single most important thing for us to keep in mind, as you know, when we build ERP financial accounting software. Now, out of my 30 years, 25 of those years has been spent building ERP, payroll, and accounting products. And the quickly developing gray hair on my head is a result of having learned the lesson that you can't mess with quality. And we understand that. This quality journey was started a little over a year ago. My predecessor, Jeff Kissling, came in and he built the framework essential in coming out with quality products. So some of the latest products we released, for example, E10.1.400, is significantly of higher quality than maybe some of the legacy releases we've had in the past. And I plan to build on that. We've launched a program internally called Epicor, which is an end-to-end examination of quality, because quality is not just about fixing bugs. Quality is in design, it's in our professional services, it's in our education and training, it's in all aspects of the product. One of the most powerful things we have in Epicor is a product that is highly customizable to suit the needs of your business, which is a very different approach than some of our ERP competitors take, where your business needs to be modified to suit the software. At the same time, we have to be careful that we cannot we cannot leave these trapdoors in the customization that won't survive upgrades. So part of quality encompasses beyond just defects or performance. It goes much broader into several of these areas. We have new tools that we've implemented that Jeff brought in. We have metrics. We have new exit criteria. We're going to revamp our beta program, and we encourage you to participate in it with us to give us that feedback. I want to hear from you folks directly. Now, don't all email me right now at the same time, but I want to hear your journey with quality. I mean, we have some great products, and you all told me that yesterday and the day before, possibly the leading products in the industry today. But quality is a commitment that I make here on stage, that regardless of the innovation that we do, regardless of the pace of change that we're going to go through, and we are going to go through a rapid pace of change, quality will be paramount in the products that we build. So in closing, let me just say this. The pace of change will continue to accelerate at a breakneck velocity. In fact, if anything, it's going to get faster. Internet will continue to reshape the world from regions to a single global community, which brings all of us unprecedented opportunities. Data democratization will imply anyone will have the power to share anything, anywhere. Data will be the new oil of this economy. Devices will dramatically change. In fact, I've had the opportunity to look at what companies like Microsoft are doing with augmented reality and virtual reality being built right into the devices. This will create very different usage paradigms. I could be here next year talking to you about some other exciting innovation that has happened in the industry. But the one thing that will always stay the same, folks, is customer service. And our ability to earn your business every single day by focusing on things that are most meaningful for you. This is a journey. Are we there yet? Probably not. But I think we've set the course, and we need you to be a partner in this journey with us. I think we're headed in the right direction. And on stage next will be Ian Ashby, who heads up customer service, or Tom Selleck, as I call him. And you'll hear from Ian the investments that we are making in our support operations. But before I go, I want to thank all of you for being here, for being our customers, for being a wonderful audience, Enjoy the conference. See you soon. Thank you.
This is a custom parts business, and so we have a lot of touch points with our customers. So it's not enough to just deliver good parts on time, at a competitive price. We have many opportunities to either impress or disappoint our customers during the design phase, during the product realization phase, during the delivery phase. So there's lots of those touch points, and we have to distinguish ourselves with our customers every time that we interact with them.